whoever wins Pro Class this year might walk away with the outright lap record at City Motorsport Park. Is that something that is within your car's capabilities this year?
Yeah, probably. If all the stars aligned and the wind blows the right way and the clouds are up there and the sun's not out too much, I reckon there's a very small chance. I'm Murray Coote. I'm sort of MCA suspension, and this thing here is our S13 Hammerhead, which we built probably 5 years ago, maybe 6. And we're going to have another go at World Time Attack this year.
When we saw the sector times light up, we thought this was going to be good, and he crossed for a 1:20.97. The crowd were incredibly impressed, so too Murray Coote, the team owner. How about the response?
Hi, I'm Andre Heimgartner. I'll be driving the MCA Hammerhead in the 2019 World Time Attack. So
we're here at Queensland Raceway for our first test with Andre in the car, and we're just hoping that everything goes well, and with what we've done so far, it's all been looking pretty good. It's a major change. Well, the biggest change you'll ever make to a car is the nut behind the wheel. We've never really been wrong there. We've always been fortunate to have really good drivers.
Headed to a record 6th consecutive podium is the MCA Hammerhead. That's where he lost the end plate earlier. Earl Bamber, a Le Mans 24-hour winner, has driven this car. Shane Van Gisbergen drove it to the podium on a couple of occasions. And in 2017, Tim Slade will take Murray Coote's Hammerhead to back-to-back victories.
So I thought we'd give Andre a go. And he's got Nissan on his overalls, which is really good because that suits an S13, you see.
So I've had a long racing history, originally from New Zealand, like all good drivers. But grew up watching people like Greg Murphy, did go-karting from about 5 or 6, and just been racing different stuff over in New Zealand, and then obviously moved over here a few years ago. So it's nearly 20 years I've been racing now, so a lot of experience, but this is very different for me. Today's the first test session and it went really well. The car's a lot different to what I thought. I'd heard all these stories about how fast it was and 1150 horsepower, all that sort of stuff, and I was a little bit freaked out, to be honest, but once I hopped in the car, it's so steady, it's so controllable. Being very different with all the power, all the aero compared to a supercar, it's hard to imagine what it's going to be like until you hop in, but once you hop in it's actually quite subdued, as we said, and it gets a lot of its time obviously from the straight line, and it actually handles the power really well. I don't know how it grips up as well. My supercar only has 600 horsepower and it seems to spin the wheels more than this, so it's amazing the engineering they've been able to do on this, and just the high speed cornering you're able to do obviously with all the wings and stuff is impressive. It's definitely a bit of a responsibility. They always go there every year expecting to win, but the team's such a family team and everyone's so calm and relaxed that it almost doesn't feel like there's too much pressure.
We won it 2 years in a row, and I guess you get a bit casual. And it was a rainy sort of event, it was on off, so we didn't get all sessions. And it was just one of those difficult events, and we weren't really on top of our game.
Obviously, as you can see, a little bit wet out there today.
Luffy has been the quickest in this last sector. The RB98 still quicker in the first two, but this lap, Luffy goes minute 21, 398 to be on the top of the pops.
Well, like the Porsche had to get there sooner or later because it was so well credentialed and well built, you know.
It's all now in the lap of the Gore, says Bartmore, done enough. He's done it. Minute 19, first minute 19 ever in time attack history.
Yeah, well, this year we recognised a few things and we've addressed that. Well, two things really. We've dragged a bit more horsepower out of the car, which sort of a little bit of straight line handling never goes to straight. And we recognised a few issues with suspension packers and bump stops. And you've got to have the bump stops for the aero to keep it off the ground at high speed. And there's a delicate balance there, not to overdo it or to underdo it. Considering the amount of laps that he hasn't done in it, he sort of fit into this pretty well. Like, you know, to sort of do a sub-record time, outright record time, to be able to jump in the car and drive it as quickly as he has with only very few laps, I think is it's a good sign of good things to come.
Definitely being the lap record here today is important in a way, but it's sort of a bit of a confidence boost. Obviously all the work they put into the car's been paying off, and for myself obviously that we can wheel the car in a comfortable way to that lap time is also good as well. So if we can be around that marker at the World Time Attack, I think we'll be on. The fact that the street legal tyre is amazing, and I think when the only time you really notice that is when you go through a slow speed corner and you've got no aero and you have to use the grip of the tyre. But through turn 1, 2, all those sort of faster speed corners, you would not know that it's an RO tyre, which is really impressive. There are a few things during the day we sort of tweaked, just high speed aero balance, did some clicks with the dampers, little things like that.
And had some displacement figures. Worked out some optimum speeds and optimum corners, and then try to match that to the shape and the progression curves with the bump stop. And then there's packers to fine tune it from there.
He's got this thing pretty well refined, and as we said, the drivers that have been through this car, it's had some really good development going on in the last few years. MCA team's been amazing. Obviously the credit to them, how easy it is to drive, and the family environment that they have here is also amazing. One of the more impressive things I personally think is that the engine under that bonnet there is 1150 horsepower, and we've done probably 10-15 laps, you know, today, and they're not going to have to pull it out and rebuild it again after this. So it's quite impressive to get that reliability, I think.
So it's a good way to show a little bit of like ability and credibility and all that. It's not why I do it, but I think it's a good healthy offshoot from it. It's a good way to justify it. I just enjoy motorsport, and I particularly have enjoyed the knowledge learned. I've sort of learned that it's very important not to focus on a couple of little things. You've got to focus on the whole car. What's really good is to see the overseas competitors, you know, wanting to come over here and do it. And what's also good is to see most of the time that we sort of flog them. Well, Australia is at the forefront of time attack. You don't know, just because they might be king of the kids in Sweden or Germany or something, it could be a different story when they come down here, because we've been doing it for a bit, you know, and the times, you know, are pretty good. So.
The World Time Attack is something I've always sort of seen from a distance. I've heard people going to it, and it's a totally different culture to a lot of the events that I normally race at. So I'm really looking forward to going there, and the fact that I get the privilege to drive, you know, a car that's capable of winning is, you know, really exciting. And I heard that, you know, when you go here, this car's like royalty. So it's more of a pleasure for me than, you know, it is for them to have me driving for them. So it's yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, I think it is possible to break that outright lap record there. Everything would have to be going the right way for that to happen. You know, if the cloud cover's right and the wind blows the right way, with a little bit of luck, with what's happened today, I reckon there's a half a chance. Yeah.